makes me wonder. This thing here is so cool. Look at this. It goes to infinity and beyond. What's up, my pixelated party people? It's been a while. I'm glad that we're all back together. And today, as you can see, I've cleaned up my desktop. We are going to work on a little project. I'm going to freestyle this project. I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to name it Character Tutorial for those that don't create custom words. And I'm going to do so in a document that is 444 pixels wide as it is tall. And I'm going to reduce the resolution to, actually, I like 144, just because I like that number. So today, on the wonderful world of internets with Dane, I'm going to teach you how to create layers in Photoshop, but for a character that you can use for a generative art project. I'm going to freestyle this. I'm going to show you an example, an approach on how I would do this if I was going to create something from scratch, maybe create a new character. And I'm going to also show you how to grab some inspiration on how to create the different layers, and then, you know, how to export those and prepare them for particular situations. So without further ado, and because I really don't want to bore you with rambling, I'm going to jump right into this. I kind of have, you know, an idea in mind. Who knows what it's going to turn out like. But what I'm going to start with is just some basic shapes. And I want to illustrate a point, right? I don't want to spend a lot of time thinking about what we're going to be creating here. I'm just going to go ahead and create some basic shapes, really silly, you know, nothing's out of this world. And with these basic shapes, I'm just going to create, you know, the outline of a character. So here you can see we already have the start, right? We have the body. And let's go ahead and group these really quick, just for simplicity's sake. When we're creating our characters, you know, if we want to take a look at some stuff on the internets here, you know, all characters essentially have a base, right? A base shape. When we learn to draw specifically, we start to learn that everything has, you know, a foundation. So I'll use the homie here, Charlie Brown, as an example. You know, Charlie has a head, he has a body, he's got some arms, a neck, and some ears. Well, right now we've got a head and a body. Right? Whoops, trying to open that up. We've got the head, we've got the body. And now it's up to us to decide how we want to create our character and what we want our character to be. You know, I have no clue what I really want this to be, so since we're freestyling it, I'm just going to come up with some simple stuff. And we'll use, you know, Charlie as an example. Maybe his head's a little too small. He's not that smart, so we're going to make him smarter, give him a big old brain. Look at that there. And maybe, you know, he's a little skinnier, right? Or she, however he or she identifies, up to it. Well, I can't say it. I learned, you can't say it, kids. It's a derogatory term. I learned that the hard way, accidentally. So, starting here. All right, we have our body. What do we do next? Well, it really depends on what we're trying to create. Like I said, I'm not going to get too nutty in this scenario. I'm just going to do some basics. So right now, let's go ahead and draw some eyes for homie the clown here. You know, I'm using the shape tool. You can use anything you like. Really, truthfully, it's up to you. You know, and I'll even maybe make a custom shape just to illustrate. Let's see if I can make a smiley face here to show you the abilities. Oops. One of the things that always drives me. See, I always leave this on, but I always turn off auto select, because auto select, what it'll do is any layer that I click on, it will select that layer. And I don't necessarily always want that to happen. And I guess in this case, it's not too terrible, but for the sake of simplicity, I usually turn it off because I'll get to working and I'll be like, what the freak? And I can't select stuff. And it drives me nuts. So let's see here. What I want to do is, you know what? Here it is. Hey, that wasn't what I was expecting to happen. What's going on there? Well, that's not going to work. It's not what I want. Well, whatever. Actually, let's run with this, right? We have the eyes here. And what I just did, if you didn't see that, I hit Command E and I merged those layers, and then we have the mouth. Okay. So we have the head, we have the body, we have our eyes, and we have our mouth. And I'm actually going to ungroup these because I didn't really mean to do it. So now we have our base character. What I want to do then is group these. Base character. He's a strange looking human. Well, being. He's got an odd expression on his face. Maybe he's shocked at how amazing this tutorial is. You never know anymore. So what do? How do we create layers? How do we make this more interesting? How do we take this beyond what it is? First and foremost, obviously, it's important to have some sort of a direction, but at the very least, we always know that there's going to be some simple aspects that we will always recreate, right? There will always be some form of a background. So as you can see now, I'm just selecting a random color and I'm filling a layer. It's not the greatest color in this example. Let me give something that'll work a little bit better. Here, a little easier. Right, we know we're going to have background, so why don't we go ahead and group this and call this background, right? And we're probably going to have some types of attributes. Well, since our pal here is nude, maybe I'll give him a hat, right? So maybe I'll draw a hat here. I'll change the color so we can see what's going on. And let me, he's just got well, I'm going to call him a he for now, since, that just makes the most sense. Maybe he's got like a little beanie. I don't know, right? Little beanie baby here. Maybe he's like a San Francisco computer programmer kind of guy, only likes to wear Adidas because, he's a gangster. Nobody likes Nike. Just kidding, Nike. Adidas is the OG. But yeah, so let's see. He's got the beanie, right? Let's give him a beanie. Nobody wants to be walking around in the nude. So, maybe we'll go ahead and give him a tank top or something. Well, why would he be wearing a fucking tank top? You never know. It's fashion, right? So how could we do this? Well, you saw how easy it was for me to draw shapes, right? And create a hat, or a beanie, if you will. And if you want, I can do this again, right? In another way. Maybe the old pal here, maybe he's not a beanie type person. Maybe he's a sideways baseball cap kind of pal, right? So let's see what that could possibly look like. He's got his hat here, right? He's got a big old New Era cap, big old Stussy New Era cap, right? Got the panhandle off to the side because he's an OG, straight thuggin', listens to hip-hop music, respects his mother, curses like a sailor type of shit, right? Maybe he's like, yo, man, what's up? Tilting that bitch. What? So now we have tilted cap, right? No cap. Homie got a tilted cap. What? Bang, bang. Boom, bip, bibbity bop. Boom. So now we have a homie with a beanie, and we have a homie with a tilted cap. We're already creating two variations of one character. Mind you, It's not going to go in the Louvre or anything like that. But look, here it is. So Buddy Boy's got his beanie. Let's give Buddy Boy a top. He can't be running around in the nude. I don't know. What kind of clothes would he wear? Maybe he's got a big old freaking puffer jacket, right? Maybe his big old puffer jacket is like lime green. Because he's a baby, because I'm a thug all day, every day. Baby, because I'm a thug. That's a little Trick Daddy for you, if you didn't know, right? I'm just freestyling. I'm not saying that this is how homies should look. I'm just saying that, look, use what I'm showing you as a base, as an abstraction, as a way to start to form your ideas and a way for you to start building different layers for your NFT projects, right? Because right now, we created the little homie. We've given him a jacket. Well, I'm fixing up his puffer jacket right quick. I'm going to give it some more, jacket-like qualities here in a minute. He's got his, right? Let me give it a zipper or something. So it looks like one of the things that I hate when the bounding boxes are on and auto select is on is like sometimes I like to tap into the canvas and just clear the selection, and it doesn't always do that. And I guess I shouldn't say hate, it's just annoying. Hate's such a strong word. All right, so look, let's pretend this is like homie's little zipper here. Let me give it the color so it stands out. Maybe that's just too much zipping going on here. Let me zip this down a little bit and center this motherfucker here. Pull that bitch down. Let me give this bitch some pockets. And what I'm doing is really, all right, I'm using a very simple concept that I was taught in art school as a child, and what I will teach you here today. And I'm just using basic shapes, and I'm breaking down the basic shapes in order to create the idea, the composition. This is not, art that I would, where's the fucking thing? Art that I would typically produce. And there's nothing wrong with this style of art. What I just want to do is I simply just want to show you how you can begin to use this concept to create your own compositions, right? So little homie over here, he's got his puffer jacket, he's got his beanie. Life is good. He's just vibing, keeping it real like a lemon peel, not worrying about much of anything. You know what I'm saying? He's got a 401k, he's got stocks, bonds, mutual funds, he's got cryptos, he's got it all. He's got the works. He's an above average guy, if you know what I'm saying. And let's see, little buddy over here needs some jeans. Let's give the OG some jeans, because he's. But they're not going to just be any kind of jeans. They're going to be G-Star Raw. And let's make him brown, because he's a fashionista or a fashion star, whatever you want to call it. He does his own research, by the way. These aren't Dior. These are G-Star. And homie's just killing it, right? He's just kicking it like FIFA. What's up, gangsta? Just chilling, man. It's cold. Thanks for dressing me. I know. Bada bing, bada boom. We have character version 1. We'll call him, Puffer Jacket Jones. And if we want to get a little bit crazier, why not? Why not do this here, right? Why not do a gradient overlay? Set this biatch to multiply. We can go ahead and change the color schema right quick to get it, little a little bit closer to what we want. I forget where that transparency thing is. There is anything. Oh yeah, it's here. If you want to know how to make your solid color to a transparent color, select the top node above the color in the gradient panel, and you can change the opacity. I chose the base color initially because I thought it would be a little more interesting to create a shadow. However, it didn't, and that's okay. And you'll also see in a second I'm going to reverse this so it kind of creates that illusion of depth. So in a very simple manner, we have created, you know, this dude here, whatever we want to call him, and he's just vibing, right? And we'll do the same thing for the puffer jacket. We'll give it some depth. Where did I put that beast? Right, right here. Where's that bad image grandma? What is this, the base? We can't do, we have to do one at a time. So down right now. It won't let me do it, huh? I'm used to Illustrator with these things. So what I'll do is fine. We're going to use the same concept. And look, I'm not, again, I want to repeat, I'm not doing anything spectacular. I'm purposefully, you know, making this very simple because the whole idea is for you to understand what's possible. I'm setting it to multiply. There's no real particular reason other than the fact that you can see that the color gets darker, right? Depending on what color you use. And honestly, experiment with this because you can find a lot of really neat effects. If I continue to adjust the saturation and change the hue, you'll start to notice the difference in what happens, right, to the item. So, cool. I'm going to drag by holding Option, clicking on FX, and letting go on the next layer to apply the exact effect that I wanted. So drag, holding Option, you'll see the two little arrows there, black and white arrows overlapping that says FX, FX. Drag it to the layer, let go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? So, with that being said, I'm going to do something real quick. It doesn't matter because I'm not doing anything with this after this video. It does matter for you, and it will always matter in all and any of your projects. Naming, grouping, and organizing your layers is critical. You know, it's easy to get running down the line and, you know, not really pay attention to what's going on in work and just keep zipping through and really just lose all control of your document. You don't have to do that. You can easily avoid that problem by just trying to organize yourself as you work through, right? So group it, organize it, name your layers. Naming is always the hardest thing in every form of work, whether it's creating this little character here or, you know, creating code or whatever. Oh, whoops. I made a mistake. You can also, just for illustration purposes, you can name stuff the same thing in Photoshop. Doesn't make sense. I want to apply the same gradient effect, so I will use the Alt Option technique we discussed. And now we have our base character, version 1. We have all the multiple layers to create that base character for those elements and for those items. So we have our background, we have our base, we have a hat, we have pants, and we have jacket, right? So we have background, base. We could even do this, right? Watch. Hats. And we're going to group this even though there's nothing there yet because we're going to make another one. And, oops, tops. Okay. So, for simplicity's sake, we have backgrounds, we have base character, we have hats, we have pants, and we have tops. We can change through all of these variations in order to create completely unique and fun characters, or whatever the heck we want, right? So, what I'm going to do, just for simplicity's sake, is I'm literally just going to drag all this stuff off to the side, and it might not work here because that's just how it is. And well, actually, fuck that. what I'm going to do then is I was going to make another artboard and show you side by side. I'm not going to do that at the moment. What I'm actually going to do is we're going to keep building. So let's go to our let's go here, right? Let's turn off the puffer jacket. Let's turn off the jeans and homies in the nude again, except all he has on is this tilted starter cap. So let's go ahead and add some depth and texture. I'm going to do the same thing, gradient overlay. I'm going to do, very similar technique using the yellows to create that depth and texture. You can do this a million, bajillion, quadrillion different ways. This isn't the end all be all. I'm just going to turn this to the side to change, how the light is, quote unquote, falling on it. And I will repeat, but I will also move the bill back behind. And we'll just call this hat bill. And then we'll call this hat, right? And I don't know, why don't we create like a insignia or something? And I'm just going to use the custom shape tool and create something silly. I don't know. Wait a minute. Where's all the basic shits that usually come with it? Something doesn't seem right. Usually there's a bunch of weird ass shapes. Oh, all right, it's over here now. What the freak? Leaf trees, wild animals. Where's the regular shapes? Photoshop. Am I missing something? There's usually these like really abstract, weird ass shapes. I don't know. We're gonna use this thing here first because we're not going down a rabbit hole. Anyways, I'll just draw this. Hey, cancel. Hold up. That's not how that goes. You see what happened there, folks? I had the hat layer selected, and it appended the rose that I was trying to draw to the hat itself, frecking up the whole scenario. So, all right. Let's pretend this is like the brand or something. I don't know. Hat brand. Homie got the rose cap. Rose cap. Rose cap. Try to make this a level, And again, who the freak cares? We're just doing this for the internet. All 5 of you are watching this anyways. All right, bet that up. OG got the cap. He's living life. He's got no pants on. This time, maybe he wants some blue jeans. So why don't we go ahead and call this brown jeans? And with a little simple click of Command J, pow, 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 all those keyboard shortcuts. How do you know this? I know a lot. Just kidding. We have duplicated our layer. And because we said OG Homie Funk is going to wear some blue jeans, we'll just go ahead and poppity pop like Fort Knox, make that some sort of a blue jean. Because he needs a cool top, why don't we give him a t-shirt this time? Because it's not as cold where he is, and he likes baggy, oversized t-shirts. And he's a big fan of purple. Freak it. Odd combo, but he's doing it. And let's see. Maybe we'll put some artwork on there. Let's go ahead. Let's put some artwork. I will be the one to wear shorts to the school. I organized my desktop. I don't know where shit is anymore. Freak. Where did I put it? Oh, because it's on my hard drives. Mother effer. Whatever. Here we go. Let's pretend. Hey, Babito. He's a graphic tee kind of guy. Right? He shops at like Pacific Sunwear. I don't know. Let's call this graphic tee. Right? Nothing against Pacific Sunwear, by the way. Or now it's called Pac Sun. It was called Pacific Sunwear when I was a kid. Look at this guy. He's freaking styling over here. He's got a graphic tee, blue jeans, a tilted starter rose cap, and Buddy Boy is vibing out right now. Just low-key, kicking it like some OG Kush. Gosh darn it. I hate this. So some of the stuff that you did, Photoshop, really gets on my nerves. I don't like that color background. The way you change stuff and you put things different places, it gets on my fucking nerves. Anyways. But bibbity bop, right? So let's Taco Bell this. Oh, let me save this. Desktop, new folder, character, toot. Yeah, we'll call it character toot. Let's talk about this real quick, right? So we got a dude on an orange background with a sideways baseball cap, some graphic tees, and some blue jeans. Okay. We've got a dude on a blue background with a beanie, some brown jeans, and a puffer jacket, right? So now we have two variations of our character. However, we also have multiple variations of those layers, right? When we export these items, we can use each one of these layers to compile differently. So what I mean by that is the following. Let's just go. I'm going to do this the hard way. There's easier ways, and you can figure this out. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to turn off some stuff, and I'm going to export, right? I'm only going to do this quickly. I'm not going to do this perfectly. Pay attention. So don't always use quick export. It doesn't always work for what you're doing. In this case, because I literally only have this solid orange, it works. But you'll see shortly that once we get to this next aspect, what's important is we retain the size of the container. And what I mean by that is when we export our little buddy, we want to make sure that we get the full canvas size, 444 pixels by 444 pixels, in a transparent manner, right? This way, whatever compiler you use, when it recognizes the object, it will know as it's pulling in these different layers based on your stacking order, where and how they'll go. And 9 times out of 10, it's probably using like a 0, 0 coordinates, which is the top left, in order to just place. I'm sure if you were really good and fancy, you could probably get with it and really build out some custom stuff in order to be more aggressive. But for this case, and for what I know, you have to make sure that the layers are the same size. So character base, right? Right now, we've exported our character. We've exported the backgrounds, and we're going to do the same with the beanie and the same with the hat. And I'm going to show you what happened. Well, I'm not going to compile it, but I'm just going to explain because I don't know what compiler you're using. So real quick, I'm just going to run through this procedure. I'm going to show you what I'm doing and why. So we have the beanie, right? And we have the tilted cap. You can use automations in Photoshop. There are tools or there are methods to do so. I'm not, because there's no need to automate saving just a couple things that we're saving. But yeah, there's definitely faster ways to do this. Again, I'm showing you from a very basic level, purposefully, in order to be as clear as possible. And, you'll start to notice that we've got background folder, we've got a character folder, we have a hats folder, we have a pants folder. We're starting to get all these weird layers that are coming together that might not make sense just yet. But what they are the building blocks, truthfully, when you think about it. If you're a designer, you might be able to think about like design systems and how this works as on a component level. If you're a programmer, you could probably think of this, on a component level, right? Because what we're doing is we're building building blocks of an element or an object, and we're exporting them, and we're allowing ourselves to use those building blocks in other ways, outside of our original intention. And that's the beauty of randomizers too, and generative artworks, which is really what you're interested in, right? Because you want to know how to create layers in Photoshop for your NFT project. It's pretty simple. So I'm going to export this last one, and I'm going to hit export, and we're going to call this graphic T. Okay. Save, as always, just to be safe. You never know. I'm going to turn the... excuse me. Apologies. I'm going to turn this back on. I'm going to turn this back on. Well, watch this, though. I'm going to do things a little bit different. You see? So check this out. Our original character started with blue jeans, a green puffer jacket. Brown jeans, a green puffer jacket, and a pink beanie with a blue background. I was able to give him a yellow hat, the green beanie, and the blue jeans, right? But at the same time, I can also, let me go ahead and find it, set that back. I can also give him a graphic tee instead. So what we have now is the ability to create multiple variations. And what I mean, even more so, is, where'd it go? If we look at the outputs, let me just go ahead and make a new folder. Let me do this to make it easier. Little tip, I always put an underscore, because in Mac, it pops it up to the top, and sometimes you just want that. But look, we have the different layers. We've exported the different layers, right? And now we have these building blocks that we can use to compile to create variations of characters. If I had more, and then we would have more. But what this does is when we run this through a randomizer based on whatever settings we want to set in terms of rarity, scarcity, combinations, etc., that is how these layers are used. So the easiest way to create layers in Photoshop is obviously, creating a layer, but to draw a character, to envision the variations, to envision those changes, we have to kind of go through and think through, all right, what it is I want to create, and then build that out, organize them in easy ways for us to work with, right? And export those in manners that we can upload them into the computer program in order to do the compiling, right? So like I showed you here, we built the graphic tee, we built puffer jackets. We could build, more, right? Maybe if we wanted to, we could build a long sleeve t-shirt. We could build a suit. We could build a tank top. We could make them topless, if we really wanted to. That's actually an option too, and that could possibly happen when we run our compiler. It depends on what we set up. So I hope this helps. I hope this is an easy way to kind of understand how to create layers in Photoshop and how to draw characters. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Obviously, feel free to reach out to me. My website, danewasalko.com. I'm pretty responsive there on the comments. I'm pretty responsive through email. I don't really play the game on Twitter. You know, you guys can do all that shit. I'm not going to keep up a Discord channel. If I do start to build any communities outside of that, it will be in Slack because that's how I roll, or something like that. But once again, you know, this is how you create layers in Photoshop. This is how you draw characters, and this is how you start to begin bases for your generative art projects. You know, when you think about 10,000 unique one-of-one profile pictures, or et cetera, NFTs, this is that process. So, without further ado, that's all I've got for you. Bibbidi bop.